People can portray me any way they want because I don't give a damn. I am what I am, and until those people touch me close enough, they'll never know what I am.
In the 1970s and 80s, Lyle Alzado wasn't just a football player, he was a nightmare on the field. A gladiator who left quarterbacks broken and battered in his wake. But his hunger for battle didn't stop there. At the height of his career, he'd gamble it all, stepping into the ring with the greatest boxer of all time. It wasn't for money or for fame, it was to prove he was the toughest man alive. You see, Alzado was a gladiator who'd take on anyone. What we'd later learn though is that Alzado, despite being one of the toughest football players to ever live, well, he was a man of contradictions. One who pushed his body to its limits and paid the ultimate price. It's a legacy riddled with destruction and eventually heartbreak. What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Luke Too Sick, back in the lab, back with another fire upload for you. This is part of our Combat Biography series, and today we're covering a guy who made history for all the wildest reasons. I'm talking about Lyle Alzado, a dude who dominated football, but also thought he was tough enough to challenge the greatest, Muhammad Ali. If you're into chaos, controversy, and one of the most fascinating stories in sports, stick around. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, get it popping in the algorithm, and let's keep building this community. It's a community, y'all. Maybe like a family. Alright, and it's based on the one thing we love most. And that's
violence.
It's your boy Luke Too Sick. Y'all know what to do. Keep those hands up.
I'm Lyle Alzado of the Denver Broncos, and I'm mean, and I'm tough, and I'm the best defensive end pro football's ever seen.
Born in 1949 in Brooklyn, New York, Lyle Alzado wasn't destined for an easy life. Raised in a tough working class neighborhood, he quickly learned that survival meant fighting, literally and figuratively. Alzado's early days were all grit and grime. Football became his way out, but even then, nothing came easy. After being kicked off his community college team, Alzado landed at Yankton College, a small NAIA school in South Dakota. There, he clawed his way to the pros and was drafted by the Denver Broncos in the 4th round in 1971. It's important to note that even while Lyle was playing football and competing at this time, well, he was also training in a whole different sport. That was boxing, and our man was actually pretty good. He competed, and he had a few matches, even made it to the semifinals of the Midwest Golden Gloves. So, we really shouldn't be surprised of what's to come.
I walked in a training camp the first day and walked down the locker room and I had this tank top on. I was about 300 pounds and I strutted down the hallway there and I ripped off my clothes and I was putting my shoes on and I was thinking to myself, if anybody bothers me, anybody comes near me, I'm going to grab them right by the throat and let them know I'm here to play.
From the moment he hit the NFL field, Alzado was an animal. Alzado became a cornerstone of the Broncos' famed Orange Crush defense. He earned All-Pro honors in 1974, a Pro Bowl selection in 1977, and helped lead the Broncos to their first Super Bowl appearance that same year. He was known for his relentless anger and passion. Alzado's aggressive style and leadership transformed Denver's defense into one of the league's best. Opposing linemen hated him, teammates respected him, and fans, they adored him. But here's the thing about football, y'all. It's a business, baby. And after 7 years, Alzado, well, he was still unhappy. And that's because his contract, well, for being one of the best pass rushers in the league, he wasn't getting paid like it. So, he was demanding more. He wanted more money. And he was willing to do anything, damn near anything, to get it. Here's where the story takes a wild turn. Lyle wasn't content with just being the baddest dude in football. He wanted more. Fame, glory, and legacy. So in 1979, he did the unthinkable. He called out Muhammad Ali. That's right, Lyle Alzado, the meanest man in football, well, he'd call out the greatest Muhammad Ali. Now, was he a great boxer? Not really, but the guy was tough. He had a background from the Golden Gloves, so there was a storyline there that a few people could believe. Ali at the time, he hadn't fought since beating Leon Spinks. He said he was retired, not in the shape to fight guys like Joe Frazier or George Foreman like he did in the past. But he was in the shape to fight a football player.
Weeks ago. Have you been training hard since then for this fight?
No, I wouldn't train. I haven't trained at all. I did a little. I'm way overweight. I did a little bit of running, but I have enough to whip any football player in the world.
So there was a storyline there for fans to believe. Alzado believed this so much that he decided to mortgage his whole house to put on the event. He even hosted it in the Denver Broncos stadium. The rest is history as you know it.
Lyle, you were about to fight Muhammad Ali. Are you Rocky or are you just crazy?
The fight, initially meant as a charity exhibition, quickly escalated. Alzado took it seriously, throwing tough punches and taunting Ali, forcing the greatest to fight back. Ali, even past his prime, began peppering Alzado with some clean shots, showcasing the gap between an NFL player and a boxing legend. Despite this, Alzado showed heart, going the distance and proving his toughness. The fight was wild, but it wasn't the glory Alzado had hoped for. It didn't make him a boxing star, but it solidified his reputation as one of the toughest and most fearless athletes of his time.
You know, he's the greatest fighter of all time, and I'm not just saying that because he's standing here, but I had to know what I had. He hit me a couple of shots and maybe could have cleaned up on me, but he let me go to see what I had left to come back with, and, you know.
Yeah, Ali even gave Alzado some credit. He said the dude was tough, and he even had some chops in him if he wanted to make a run in the boxing game after his football career was done. Now, would that ever happen? Unfortunately, and sadly, no. You see, the boxing event was a financial disaster, with only 15,000 tickets sold. Just a month later, Alzado's NFL career took a new turn as he was traded to the Cleveland Browns. In 1982 though, he'd have a career resurgence, ending up on the Oakland Raiders, and he'd take that image of himself as the scariest player in the league to a whole new level. Yeah y'all, and this was the 80s Raiders too. It was a team of outlaws, misfits, criminals. Let's just say Alzado, he fit in. In 1982, while playing for the Oakland Raiders, Lyle Alzado cemented his reputation as one of the NFL's most intimidating and controversial players with an unforgettable moment of raw aggression. During a playoff game against the New York Jets, Alzado's temper flared to legendary levels. After a play, Alzado ripped the helmet off of Jets offensive lineman Chris Ward and threw it at him in a fit of rage. Yeah, you heard that. Before Myles Garrett, there was Lyle Alzado. The incident stunned fans and officials alike. It was a display of violence so extreme that the NFL had no choice but to act. That moment led to the creation of what's now known as the Alzado Rule, prohibiting players from throwing helmets or any other equipment as weapons during a game. Despite this, his tenure with the Raiders was a career resurgence. He'd suit up, step onto the field, and wreak absolute havoc. Whether it was sacking quarterbacks, breaking up plays, or getting into sideline brawls, Alzado was the living embodiment of intimidation.
What about Chris Ward?
I don't like Chris Ward. He's a big mouth, he's a hot dog, he runs his mouth, and if I had a chance to have him swallow his helmet, I'd have done it.
But Lyle's intensity, it came with a cost. Behind the scenes, he was battling demons. Everything from rage, insecurity, and a growing dependency on performance-enhancing drugs.
When you approach weights, you don't approach it with a sensitivity. You approach it with a warlike attitude, and we're going to do war with the weights.
He once said he would do anything to be bigger, stronger, faster, and man, did it show. By the late 80s, after a stint in Hollywood and a failed NFL comeback, the toll of his lifestyle started catching up to him. His body began to break down. In 1991, he was diagnosed with brain cancer, which he believed was caused by his years of steroid use. Alzado then made a major move, becoming one of the first NFL players to openly admit to using steroids. And he didn't just dabble, he went all in. Alzado spent his final years in deteriorating health, but he'd used that time speaking out against the dangers of PEDs, trying to warn others not to make the same mistakes. he did.
With me, I don't want anybody to have to go through what I'm going through. If I had to make the decision to be part of pro football for 16 years, if I had to do that, to take the steroids that I took, the growth hormone for my comeback, and all the other stuff that I did, I wouldn't give up my life for it. And I don't think the kids that walk on the beach that are built by steroids, the athletes that compete in pro football, in pro basketball, in pro football, in pro baseball, I don't think they should have to make the choice.
After a long public battle with brain cancer, football great Lyle Alzado died today.
On May 14th, 1992, Lyle Alzado passed away at the age of 43. Steroids didn't just steal his shot at a potential boxing career, they robbed him of any hope for a life beyond football. The real tragedy here? Well, it might be that Lyle Alzado was simply a product of his environment and a man shaped by circumstances bigger than he ever was. One of his teammates once said Lyle was the nicest guy off the field, but once the game started, it was like he flipped a switch, as if two completely different men lived inside. His brother painted a complicated picture of their upbringing, an absent alcoholic father and a mother who worked tirelessly just to keep the family afloat. He said that violence you saw on the field, he said it was Lyle channeling all the anger he felt about his childhood and about his life. This whole video I've really been focusing on the intimidation, the anger, and all the craziness that Lyle Alzado brought. But it's important to note that he was also one of the greatest guys to ever grace the league.
Excuse me, Mr. Long, can you autograph my huddle?
Sure, kid. Hey, Lyle, look, he's got the Raider huddle.
He's got the Raider huddle. That's the only one I don't have.
What's a huddle?
What's a huddle? A huddle is the 28 mascots of all the NFL teams. Here, look, I'll show you. Here's the Jet huddle, and I got the 49er huddle, got my Dolphin huddle. I gotta have the Raider huddle.
No way.
How about if I give you the whole AFC West?
Alzado didn't just crush quarterbacks, he gave back to the community, especially the young people who were struggling just like he had. He threw himself into charity work, from hosting fundraisers to supporting youth programs, raising money for causes that mattered to him, like helping kids find a way out of cycles of hardship. So yeah, he had this terrifying reputation, but underneath it all, Lyle Alzado, well, he had a heart as big as his biceps.
There are a lot of people who said, Lyle did wrong, he's paying the price, but they may not know the quality of character that this guy has, his heart and his love of humanity. Mm-hmm. If you can articulate in a few words quality of Lyle Alzado, what would it be, Kathy?
An immense love for every human being that walks this planet.
Alzado might be a cautionary tale about what happens when ambition and obsession collide, but he's also the story of a man who lived every second at full speed. On the field, in the ring, or facing his demons head on, Lyle Alzado wasn't just the meanest man in football. He was proof that greatness, when taken too far, can come at an unthinkable cost. So here's the deal. Lyle Alzado leaves behind a legacy that's honestly just really hard to summarize in one sentence. I mean, it's messy, it's complicated, but at the end of the day, it's human.
If they want to see me in this interview or in a newspaper article and say, what's the matter with this guy? Let them say it. But don't you analyze me and don't you tell me what I am until you get close enough to understand what I am.
And that is the story of Lyle Alzado, y'all. If you guys liked the video, comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Hit a like on the video, get it popping in the algorithm. Remember, every single video that we do, a part of this series, is to remember and to always respect the legends of the past. That's what we do these videos for. That's what this channel is for, to respect the guys that step into this ring, put their bodies on the line. So, hey, we got so much more coming. Just make sure you're staying tuned. And of course, keep those hands up.